I was bankruptcy imminent. A negative $55,000 in a bank account. So
do you have a good or a bad sales process? And how do you know what's working and what isn't? In this video, Jim and I talk about what a good sales process looks like, what it doesn't look like, and how to make sure that you're set up every time to continue to improve your sales process so you can connect with people and grow your business. Stay tuned.
How you can be the greatest salesperson on the planet. And I've been selling since I was 5 years old. I'm 65 years old. I've been selling for 60 years. I sold door to door. I did, because in order to get money, I had to have a way to do it. And I'm not saying probably not 5, but I'll tell you what, 8 or 9 for sure. So what did I sell? I sold seeds. I sold flower seeds and vegetable seeds. And so every spring, early spring, I would go around to my neighborhood and I would knock on doors. Imagine that, knocking on doors. And I would sell these seeds, right? And I'd have a catalog and they would pick out what they wanted. And then I would order them and I would deliver them and I would get paid. And that money that I got paid, I used to buy the baseball glove, the bat, the basketball, whatever it is that I wanted, a bike, because I come from a family of 7 children, including myself. And me and my parents just didn't have the wherewithal to say, well, here's son, here's $50, go do what you want to do. I had to go earn the money myself. So I sold seeds in the springtime. I sold Christmas cards, pre-Christmas, right? I had a catalog and that people would order their Christmas cards. And I got so good at doing this that people would actually not buy Christmas cards until I came knocking on the door. But again, I'm knocking on the door. And by the way, when you knock on doors as a salesman, there's a lot of rejection. That's just how it goes. I was a newspaper delivery guy. I delivered the Standard Observer initially, and then I moved on to the Tribune Review and the Post Gazette. I did that. I did odd jobs. So I was always selling, right? And then I started selling cars officially back in 1978. I was 21 years old. And so what is that? That's 40 some years of selling. So I've been selling for a long time and I understand it. I really do. So I'm very comfortable with selling, but let's understand, I mean, there's 40 some years of experience with selling. So, I mean, if you said to me, hey, Jim, there's a person out there wants to talk about a car. We're out of salesmen. Could you go say hi to him? Mm-hmm. Don't be surprised when I sell him a car. I don't even know anything about the cars, right? But I would sell myself and I would work it so that, as I needed help, I would get that help. But the bottom line is I would make such an impression on the person that they would buy a car from me because I made the impression, not because I'm Jim Shorkey, although that probably would enter into it that, geez, I'm really talking to Jim Shorkey. Are you kidding me? So, but if I say I'm Jim Shorkey and that makes the client feel special, am I not making an impression? So not everybody can say they're Jim Shorkey, but I am Jim Shorkey. And so, yeah, that gives me a little bit of an edge in terms of the impression. But at the end of the day, my job, I'm at the dealership. All the salesmen are busy. I'm just stopping in to say hello. And they say, hey, Jim, there's a lady out here. Would you mind talking? Heck yeah, I'll go talk to her. I love talking to people. So I go out, I do my thing. We have some fun. And at the right moment, I get the right people involved. And don't be surprised when a car gets sold because I've been doing this for so long. But again, it's going to be back to that original fundamental fact that selling is nothing more than a transfer of enthusiasm. So when Jim Shorkey walks out there in his Hakuna Matata t-shirt, a pair of shorts, improperly dressed, but I wasn't there to sell a car. So I'd have to explain to the folks, hey, listen, I'm retired. I'm here to help out and I'd have to tell a little bit of a story. And I said, I'm here to help out because all the salespeople are busy. And so I'm just coming out to serve you because you're important to me. And so I would turn it into a very huge benefit. If I was being instructed to sell cars, I would certainly not show up in a t-shirt and a pair of shorts. I wouldn't, but I'm not there to sell cars. I was there to visit with so-and-so, and they just happen to have somebody they wanted me to talk to. And I talk to people all the time. If I'm in a dealership, I cannot be in the dealership and not talk to customers. Can't do it. I can't do it. Hey, thank you. Hey, nice to meet you. My pleasure. I can't do it. Cannot do it.
That's so
because I care so much about the customers. And that's the impression I want to make.
Just the basics of, almost your story of how you got started, right? Your story of, selling Christmas cards, selling newspapers, right? Mm-hmm. For many of you who are watching, you're thinking, well, what does it like to get started, right? And sometimes it's just, I'm really intrigued by, as a kid, I used to sell, baseball cards, right? And then after that, moved into, I remember my friend Brad telling me stories of, he moved into selling like some water filters. And then from there, went to helping his dad sell insurance. And from there, right, then went to,
Yeah.
learn some more about marketing. And then from there,
There you go.
right, it's just a develop, like it's exactly what you're talking
Yep.
about
Yep.
working out, about being healthy. It's a process, right? And to say it's not easy, it's doable if
It's
you
always
stay
a
committed
process.
and you're prepared for setbacks, right? We teach about that in our Rethink You 2.0
Yep.
course,
Yep.
to face setbacks as you set goals and move toward them. But it's also
Yep.
the
Yep.
recognition of, okay, I'm going to face a setback and I'm going to keep going, right? And you're going to develop and get better, right? As we've produced this Rethink Sales show over
Yep.
30
Yep.
some episodes, it's gotten better and better and better and better, right? And that's the exact same thing with the sales process.
Yep. And it's going to
Right.
continue to get better.
Mhm.
It's going to continue to get better because you've sought expert counsel and you're working with Aaron, and you're trying to figure it out, and I'm trying to figure it out, but more you're figuring out than I'm just doing what I'm told. But at the end of the day, there it is. Okay, there it is. And the idea of how to grow a YouTube channel, I have no idea about that. I don't. And I suspect that you didn't either until very recently. So we want to grow our YouTube channel. Well, in order to do that, first of all, you have to have a YouTube channel, which we didn't even have. So now we have. And so we want to grow it. And if you remember, I asked you, I said, well, what does that look like? I said, well, we got to get it to 1,000 subscribers.
Right.
How many we have right now? 15, whatever that number is. It's not a big number. Okay. Well, let's work on getting it to 1,000. And so, for example, our goal achiever community, we started off.
It was
with
exciting
nothing,
when it was
zero.
like, oh, it's 100.
It's now 1,700.
It was exciting.
North
right?
of 1,700.
Because that's.
Yeah, exactly. It's a 1,700. But that's what this is all about. So how do I grow a community from 0 to 1,700? And we're not done yet. So how do I do that? Okay, well, here's the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? How do I go from not having any knowledge about selling cars at all to selling 10 cars a month? Well, it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Wait a second. I thought you said that's how you grow YouTube. It's the same thing. Yeah, the steps are going to be different, but it's the basic same idea. There's, when you talk about having a plan or a process, we got to remember, and this is really poignant. So again, you might want to write this one down, but we're always in a process, no exceptions. Every single person that is listening, every single person that is not listening, every single person on the planet, there's close to 8 billion people on the planet, every single one of those 8 billion is in a process. Every one of them. You may say, I don't think that's true. Yeah, it is. The question is it a good process or a bad process? You're in a process. Okay. Is it a good one or a bad one? And so you have to answer that question today. I can't answer it for you, but I can tell you this: if you're in a good process, then stick with it. You're going to get good results. And if you can make the process even better, stick with it. You're going to get better results. But if you're in a bad process, you're going to get bad results. And so when you look at your results, you say, my results are bad. Well, then you got a bad process.
Yeah.
So, well, that's the process they taught me. Well, let's look at it. Hey guys, is this the process that you taught Derek? Nope. Derek's doing his own process. Well, Derek, you got to start doing the Jim Shorkey process. You're not doing the Jim Shorkey process. You're doing the Derek Kelly process. How many dealerships do you own, Derek? None. How many dealerships do you run, Derek? None. How long you been selling cars, Derek? 30 days. And you're changing the process?
Yeah. Right.
How's that realistic? I mean, how's that even fair? We have this process that we've been doing for how many years now? We've taken it from 1 dealership to 17, from 40 employees to, or 50 employees, whatever it is, to 1,100 employees, from selling, 1,000 cars a year to selling 25,000 cars a year. Do you want me to keep going? Right now, how much more evidence do you need? So here's this process, and we're teaching it to you, and we taught it to you, we think, really well, and you're out there for 30 days, and you're already changing the process.
Right. Yeah. Right.
How, where are you coming from? So if you remember when I told you about bankruptcy imminent, I had a bad process, Derek. And so when I got a good process from Napoleon Hill, the promise I made to Napoleon Hill was, I'm going to do exactly what you tell me to do. And by the way, I didn't even believe in the process. I thought it was kind of hokey, kind of weird, some weird stuff in there. But guess what? I was bankruptcy imminent. A negative $55,000 in a bank account. So, I mean, if you're bankruptcy imminent, if you're unhealthy, if you've got, if your results aren't what you want them to be, who are you to question the experts? Like, I'm really jacked up here. Okay. What should I do to fix it? What should do these 10? Oh, I'm not going to do those 10 things. Well, who are you? Your results are terrible. You stink. Why would you question the expert? So my answer is, as always, is find somebody who is smarter than you, who's done successfully what you want to do. Have a conversation, and it doesn't have to be a one-on-one conversation. That would be ideal, but have a conversation, get a book, watch a YouTube video, do all three, whatever, and come up with this list of things that you need to do and this list of things you need to stop doing, and let's get to work. But as soon as you start to alter that, well, I'm supposed to eat an avocado every day. Well, I'm eating one every 3 days. Well, that's not what they're telling me. So in order for me to get that habit going, I've got to actually go get an avocado and put it someplace where I'm going to trip over it. And over time of putting it someplace where I'm going to trip over it, I eat the avocado. And I've been eating an avocado every day because I want to lower my ApoB. This is not medical advice, by the way. This is what they're telling me to do. I'm not giving you medical advice, but I want to make the point of it's the same thing. So I got to eat the avocado. You got to dress professionally. I got to work on olive oil. You got to work on your sales knowledge, your training. So there's going to be a list of things you need to do to be this great car salesman, and there's going to be a list I need to do to reduce my ApoB, or it's ApoB 100. And so there's a list I've got to do, and there's a list I've got to stop doing, et cetera. Yeah. It's always the same thing. It's just they're just different lists, but it's the same idea. And so the reason your results are terrible, Derek, is because you have a bad process. So we're all in process. The question is whether it's a good one or a bad one. And if you have a bad, remember, you pulled it up last week. I still don't have it quite in my head, my brain, but Albert Einstein, pretty smart guy, right? So we're going to start arguing with him too. So what did he say about it? What was his definition of insanity again?
I'll tell you 1 second. Doing the same thing over and over again.
Get a billboard for that.
Different results.
Well, a lot of us. So if you're doing something over and over again, and just stop and think before you answer, okay? If you're doing the same thing over and over again, what would that be? If you were doing, what would that be called? You're doing the same thing. So you're doing this
bad process,
stuff
Jim.
over and over and over again. What would that?
Okay.
Well, no, it's not a bad process. No, not a bad process. It's a process. It might be a bad process. How are we going to determine if it's a good or bad process?
Right, by knowing what.
Slow down. Exactly. Results. So if my results aren't good, what does that tell me?
Change your process.
Bad process.
Right?
What do I got to do?
Yeah. Seek expert counsel.
Fix the process, right? How do I do that? But I don't want to do what expert counsel tells me to do. Yeah, exactly. You're a dummy. You're an idiot, Jim. What are you thinking? Like when my dad died, I got phone calls from experts. They said, Jim, we'll come in and help you out. Don't want it. Jim, we'll come spend time at the dealership, help you run. Nope, not interested. What an idiot.
Right.
So the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. And that's what we're doing in America today. We don't like our results, but we expect them to change. They're not going to change because it's the actions that produce results. It's not the chanting, it's not the praying. Those are two things that will produce results, but it's not enough. We got to do the push-ups. We got to drink the cranberry juice. We got to eat the avocado.